Let's settle now, gently, into something ancient. Something that began not as entertainment, not as personality tests, but as a way of listening, of understanding, of reading the language of heaven itself. We're traveling back more than 3,000 years to a time when the sky held answers, when emperors looked up seeking wisdom, when the universe spoke to those who knew how to listen. It began over 3,000 years ago. Chinese astrology traces back to the Shang dynasty around 1600 to 1046 BCE, when royal diviners read cracks in oracle bones to predict harvests, wars, and royal births. Imagine this: an ancient palace, built of wood and earth, the night silent except for the crackling of fire. And in a sacred chamber, a diviner works. A specialist. Someone trained in reading what cannot be read, in hearing what cannot be heard. Before him, objects carefully prepared. Oracle bones. These weren't ordinary bones. They were the shoulder blades of oxen, or the underside of turtle shells. Cleaned, dried, treated with reverence, because these bones would become the medium through which heaven speaks to earth, through which the ancestors answer questions, through which the future reveals itself. The questions were serious. Life and death serious. Will the harvest be good this year? Should the king wage war against the neighboring state? Will the queen give birth to a son? When should we plant? When should we move the capital? Questions that affected everyone, that shaped the survival of the dynasty, of the kingdom, of the people. And the ritual was precise, careful. The diviner would carve the question into the bone, in early Chinese characters, making the inquiry physical, real. Then heat would be applied. A bronze rod, heated red in the fire, pressed against the bone, and the bone would respond, would crack. Fissures spreading across the surface, patterns forming, random to the untrained eye, but to the diviner, meaningful. These cracks were read, interpreted. The pattern of the lines, the direction they ran, where they intersected, how deep they went. All of this carried meaning, carried answer. The bone had listened to the question, had received it, and through fire and fracture had responded. Heaven speaking through the medium of bone, through heat, through the transformation of solid into fractured. And the answer would be recorded, carved beside the original question, creating a record. A conversation between human and divine, between earth and heaven, between the known and the unknown. And these bones would be stored, kept, preserved. Thousands of them. Archives of questions and answers. Libraries of divine conversation stretching across decades, across generations. This was how it began. With bones, with fire, with questions and cracks, with the belief that heaven could be consulted, that the universe had patterns, that those patterns could be read. If you knew how, if you were trained, if you listened carefully enough. And as time passed, as dynasties rose and fell, as knowledge accumulated and refined, the practice evolved. The questions became more complex, the methods more sophisticated. And alongside the oracle bones, another form of wisdom grew. It was deeply connected to astronomy. Ancient court astronomers carefully observed the sky, especially Jupiter's 12-year orbit, which later became linked to the 12-year zodiac cycle. The royal court had astronomers. Not astrologers as we think of them now, but scientists, observers, people whose job was to watch, to record, to understand the movements of celestial bodies, because the sky was not separate from Earth. What happened above reflected what happened below. Heaven and earth were mirrors, connected, inseparable. And these astronomers were meticulous. Night after night, year after year, generation after generation, they watched, they noted, they recorded the positions of stars, the movements of planets, the cycles of the moon, the path of the sun, all of it carefully documented, all of it studied, looking for patterns, for rhythms, for the rules that govern celestial movement. And one planet in particular captured their attention. Jupiter, that bright wanderer, moving slowly across the sky, taking its time, not rushing like some planets, not flashing briefly like meteors, but steady, deliberate, predictable. And when they tracked it carefully enough, when they measured across years, across decades, they discovered something remarkable. Jupiter takes approximately 12 years to complete its journey across the sky. 12 years to travel through the celestial sphere and return to its starting point. 12 years. Not 11. Not 13. 12. A complete cycle. A return. A rhythm that could be measured, anticipated, known. And this 12-year cycle became significant, profound. Because if Jupiter's movement could be measured in 12 years, if the heavens themselves moved in 12-year rhythms, then perhaps time itself could be divided into 12. Perhaps 12 was a sacred number, a cosmic number, a rhythm woven into the fabric of existence itself. And so it was. The 12-year cycle became fundamental, not just to astronomy, but to how time itself was understood, how years were counted, how ages were marked. And eventually, this 12-year rhythm would become the foundation of something else, something that would last thousands of years. The zodiac is based on a 12-year cycle. The 12-animal system developed during the Han Dynasty, 206 BCE to 220 CE, when the zodiac became more structured and widely used. The Han Dynasty. A golden age. A time of expansion and consolidation, when China became China in ways that would last, when culture and knowledge were systematized, written down, made official, made permanent. And during this time, the 12-year cycle that astronomers had observed for centuries became something more, became personified, became the zodiac. 12 animals, chosen, named, assigned to the 12 years of Jupiter's cycle, creating a system where each year had not just a number but a character, a personality, an energy, each year associated with an animal. And as the cycle completed and began again, the same animals returned. The same energies. The same patterns repeating eternally. This wasn't random. Was it arbitrary? The 12 animals were chosen symbolically. The zodiac animals, rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, pig, each represented personality patterns observed in nature and society. Think about this. 12 animals. Not the first 12 that came to mind. Not the most powerful or the most beautiful necessarily. But 12 that represented something. That symbolized different aspects of life. Of character. Of energy. Each one carefully chosen for what it embodied. The rat. Small. Quick. Clever. A survivor. An opportunist. Representing intelligence and adaptability. The ability to find food where others see none. To thrive in difficult circumstances. To be resourceful and quick thinking. The ox. Large. Strong. Patient. Dependable. Representing endurance and hard work. The steady plowing of fields. The reliable strength that builds civilization. Not flashy. Not exciting. But essential. Foundational. The quiet power that makes everything else possible. The tiger. Fierce. Bold. Protective. Representing courage and power. The guardian of the home. The protector against evil. Strength that can be fierce when needed but also controlled. Power that serves rather than dominates. The rabbit. Soft. Gentle. Intuitive. Representing grace and compassion. The quiet observer. The peaceful presence. Sensitivity to others. Awareness of subtlety. The ability to move through the world gently. The dragon. The only mythical creature among the 12. Representing power and good fortune. Imperial authority. Divine connection. The extraordinary rising above the ordinary. Magic existing within reality. The snake. Mysterious. Wise. Transformative. Representing deep thought and intuition. The ability to shed old skins. To transform. To see what others miss. Wisdom that comes not from books but from understanding. The horse. Fast. Free. Energetic. Representing movement and independence. The messenger. The traveler. The one who refuses to be contained. Energy that can't be still. Freedom as necessity, not luxury. The goat. Peaceful. Creative. Harmonious. Representing artistic talent and gentleness. The aesthetic sense. The appreciation of beauty. The desire for peace over conflict. Creativity over destruction. The monkey. Clever. Playful. Innovative. Representing intelligence and adaptability. The trickster. The problem solver. The one who finds unconventional solutions. Playfulness that masks deep intelligence. The rooster. Proud. Precise. Confident. Representing punctuality and pride. The one who announces the dawn. Who organizes and structures. Who takes pride in doing things correctly. The dog. Loyal. Honest. Protective. Representing faithfulness and integrity. The companion. The guardian. The one who can be trusted completely. Loyalty that never wavers. The pig. Content. Generous. Honest. Representing enjoyment of life and abundance. The one who appreciates comfort. Who shares willingly. Who finds satisfaction in simple pleasures. Honesty without pretense. 12 animals. 12 personalities. 12 energies. Each year carrying the essence of its animal. Each person born in that year receiving that influence. That character. That pattern. Not deterministic. Not absolute. But influential. Present. Shaping. And how did these animals get their order? Why rat first and pig last? Why this sequence and not another? The great race legend explains the order. According to folklore, the Jade Emperor held a race across a river to determine the zodiac order. The clever rat won by riding on the ox's back. The stories we tell to explain the patterns we observe. The legends that make systems memorable. The myths that carry meaning deeper than mere chronology. The Jade Emperor. The supreme deity in Chinese folk religion. Ruler of heaven. Deciding to create order among the animals. To give each one its place. Its year. Its honor. And he announced a race. A great competition. Whoever crossed the river first would be first in the zodiac. Second across would be second. And so on. 12 winners. 12 places. All equal in honor but different in sequence. And the animals prepared. Each one confident in their own abilities. Each one determined to win. The ox was strong. A powerful swimmer. Steady. Reliable. Starting early because he knew he was slow. But determined to finish. And he swam. Steadily. Surely. Making his way across the river with patient power. Certain of victory. But the rat was clever. Smaller. Weaker. Couldn't swim as well. But smart. So smart. He asked the ox for a ride. And the kind ox agreed. Let the rat climb on his back. Carried him across the river. Not seeing the trick. Not understanding the plan. And when they neared the far shore, when the ox's hooves touched the riverbed, when victory was certain, the rat jumped, leaped from the ox's head, landed on the bank just ahead. First across. Winner of the race. Clever. Cunning. Victorious through intelligence rather than strength. And so the order was set. Rat first. Ox second. The others finishing according to their abilities. Tiger third through powerful swimming. Rabbit fourth by hopping across stones. Dragon fifth despite being able to fly, delayed by stopping to make rain for thirsty creatures. Snake sixth. Horse seventh. Goat, monkey, and rooster eighth, ninth, and 10th, arriving together by cooperating on a raft. Dog 11th, despite being a strong swimmer, delayed by stopping to play in the water. And Pig last, arriving late after stopping for a meal and a nap. The story reveals the character of each animal. The rat's cleverness. The ox's kindness. The tiger's power. The rabbit's agility. The dragon's compassion. The snake's stealth. The horse's speed. The cooperation of goat, monkey, and rooster. The dog's playfulness. The pig's enjoyment of life. Each one true to their nature. Each one placing according to their character. And this story, this legend, it made the system memorable, made it human, made it more than just astronomy and cycles, made it meaningful, a narrative, a teaching, a wisdom carried in story form, the way wisdom has always been carried, through tales told and retold, through legends that encode truth in narrative. But beneath the stories, beneath the legends and the animals, beneath even the astronomy and cycles, there was philosophy, deep philosophy. It is rooted in yin and yang philosophy. Chinese astrology developed alongside the philosophy of yin and yang, emphasizing balance between opposing forces. Yin and yang, the fundamental principle, the cosmic duality, not good and evil, not right and wrong, but complementary opposites. Two forces that create everything through their interaction, through their dance, through their eternal push and pull, light and dark, active and passive, male and female, hot and cold, dry and wet, hard and soft, expansion and contraction, day and night, summer and winter, life and death, not one good and one bad, both necessary, both essential, both creating. Because without dark, light has no meaning. Without cold, heat is not hot. Without winter, spring is not renewal. Without death, life is not precious. The opposites define each other, create each other, exist only in relationship to each other. And everything contains both. Nothing is purely yin or purely yang. Day contains the seeds of night, shadows growing longer as evening approaches. Night contains the seeds of day, stars fading as dawn approaches. Summer's heat carries the coming coolness of autumn. Winter's cold carries the promise of spring's warmth. Everything in flux. Everything transforming. Yin becoming yang, becoming yin. Eternally. Endlessly. The cosmic dance that creates existence itself. And Chinese astrology incorporated this. Each zodiac year is either yin or yang. Alternating. Balancing. Rat is yang. Ox is yin. Tiger is yang. Rabbit is yin. Dragon is yang. Snake is yin. Horse is yang. Goat is yin. Monkey is yang. Rooster is yin. Dog is yang. Pig is yin. The cycle alternating perfectly. Balance built into the system. Neither energy dominating. Both present. Both honored. Both necessary. And this wasn't just animals and energies. It uses the 5 elements. Wood, fire, earth, metal, and water were added to the 12 animals, creating a 60-year cycle. This system formed during the late Zhou and Han periods. 5 elements. Not like Western elements. Not physical substances exactly. But phases. Energies. Qualities. Wood, growth, flexibility, expansion. Fire, transformation, passion, action. Earth, stability, nourishment, centering. Metal, structure, determination, harvest. Water, flow, wisdom, adaptation. Each one representing a different type of energy. A different way of being. A different quality of existence. And these 5 elements combine with the 12 animals. Wood rat. Fire ox. Earth tiger. Metal rabbit. Water dragon. And so on. 12 animals times 5 elements equals 60 combinations. 60 unique year types. Each one with its own specific character. Its own particular energy. Its own influence and meaning. So the cycle isn't just 12 years. It's 60 years. 5 complete animal cycles before the same combination returns. Before wood rat comes again. Before fire ox appears once more. 60 years. Nearly a human lifetime. A complete cosmic rotation. And when you live to see your birth year return with the same element. When you complete the full 60-year cycle. That's significant. That's having lived a complete cosmic round. That's earning a special respect. A recognition of age and wisdom and completion. This 60-year cycle became the framework. The structure. The way time itself was organized. Not just for astrology. But for history. For dating. For understanding where you were in the great cosmic pattern. Your birth year wasn't just a number. It was a place in the cycle. A position in the pattern. A specific combination of animal, element, and energy that would never repeat exactly for 60 more years. And this system. This complex, sophisticated system of animals and elements and yin-yang. It wasn't for entertainment. It was used for imperial decisions. Emperors relied on astrologers to choose lucky dates for coronations, wars, marriages, and agricultural planning. The emperor. The son of heaven. His authority came from heaven itself. From the mandate of heaven. And maintaining that connection was essential. Required constant attention. Constant consultation with the cosmic order. And astrologers served this need. Became crucial advisors. Essential members of the imperial court. When to hold the coronation. Ask the astrologers. When to launch a military campaign. Consult the cosmic calendar. When should the emperor marry? When should the heir be born? When should the capital be moved? When should new laws be announced? When should crops be planted? When should harvests begin? All of these questions. All of these crucial decisions. Made in consultation with those who understood the patterns. Who could read the cosmic rhythms. Who knew when energies were favorable and when they were not. This wasn't superstition. Not in their understanding. This was science. The science of the cosmos. Of understanding that timing matters. That energies flow in patterns. That working with those patterns is wiser than working against them. That harmony with cosmic rhythm leads to success while discord leads to failure. So the astrologers studied, calculated, consulted their texts, observed the sky, read the cycles, and advised. And the emperor listened, made his decisions based on their counsel, timed his actions to harmonize with the cosmic patterns, seeking to maintain balance, to work with heaven rather than against it, to ensure his dynasty's continuation through cosmic alignment. And all of this, all of these calculations and consultations, all of these observations and predictions, they followed a specific calendar. It is based on the lunar calendar. Chinese astrology follows the traditional lunisolar calendar, meaning zodiac years begin on Lunar New Year, not January 1st. The lunar calendar, following the moon, the visible celestial body that anyone could observe, that marked its phases clearly. New moon to full moon to new moon again. Approximately 29.5 days. A lunar month. 12 lunar months making a lunar year. But a lunar year is shorter than a solar year. About 11 days shorter. So over time, the lunar calendar would drift away from the seasons, from the solar year. The solution, a lunisolar calendar. Lunar months, but adjusted to solar years, adding extra months occasionally to keep the calendar aligned with seasons, with agricultural reality, with the solar year that governs planting and harvest. A complex calendar, requiring calculation, requiring astronomical knowledge, but functioning, working, keeping both lunar rhythm and solar seasons in harmony. And the new year in this calendar doesn't fall on January 1st. Falls instead on the second new moon after the winter solstice, usually somewhere between late January and mid-February. Variable, shifting, but always marked by specific celestial configuration. The new moon, the beginning of a new lunar month, the second one after the solstice, the true beginning, the cosmic reset. And this is when the zodiac year changes, when the rat year becomes ox year, when dragon year becomes snake year. Not on January 1st, but on Lunar New Year, the spring festival, the celebration, the welcoming of new cosmic energy, new animal, new element, new pattern beginning. So if you were born in January, before Lunar New Year, you belong to the previous year's zodiac, not the year shown on your Western birth certificate, but the year still active in the cosmic cycle when you were born. This matters. This is essential for accurate reading, for understanding your true cosmic position. And over time, across dynasties, through centuries of use and refinement, the system evolved. It became a personality system over time. Originally used for state divination and cosmic harmony, it gradually evolved into a personality and compatibility system used across East Asia. Originally it was grand, imperial, about state affairs and cosmic order. about maintaining harmony between heaven and earth, about ensuring the emperor's mandate, the dynasty's continuation, the kingdom's prosperity. It was big, important, official, but gradually, slowly, it filtered down, became personal. People beyond the imperial court wanted to understand themselves, wanted to know their compatibility with potential spouses, wanted guidance for their own decisions, their own lives, their own fates. And the astrologers, the texts, the knowledge. It spread, moved from court to common life, from official state religion to folk belief, from grand imperial concerns to personal questions. Am I compatible with this person? What career suits my nature? When should I make major life changes? What are my strengths? My challenges? What's my destiny? And the system adapted, became more detailed, more personal, developed methods for reading individual birth charts, for understanding not just the year but the month, the day, the hour, creating detailed pictures of individual personality, individual fate, individual paths through life. And it spread beyond China, to Korea, to Japan, to Vietnam, to other parts of East Asia, each culture adapting it, adding their own elements, their own interpretations, but keeping the core, the 12 animals, the 5 elements, the 60-year cycle, the connection to cosmic pattern and natural rhythm. Until today, when millions of people across Asia and around the world know their zodiac sign, know their animal, know their element, use this ancient system to understand themselves and others, to make decisions, to find meaning, to connect with patterns thousands of years old, patterns that began with heated bones and cracking, with court astronomers watching Jupiter slowly cross the sky, with the organization of time into 12-year cycles, with the wisdom that heaven and earth are connected, that patterns repeat, that cosmic rhythms influence human life. And as you rest now, as you drift towards sleep, you can appreciate this long history, this deep wisdom, this patient observation across millennia, this belief that we're connected to something larger, something cosmic, something patterned and meaningful, not random, not chaos, but order, rhythm, cycles endlessly turning, like the moon waxing and waning, like the seasons changing and returning, like Jupiter completing its 12-year journey and beginning again. You're part of that, born into it, carrying your own combination of animal and element and energy, your own place in the 60-year cycle, your own cosmic signature, connecting you to patterns ancient and eternal, connecting you to everyone else who shares your sign, your element, your place in the pattern. And that's not mystical in a vague sense. It's specific, mathematical, based on careful observation and systematic understanding. Science and spirituality intertwined. Astronomy and philosophy merged, creating something practical and profound. Something that has lasted 3,000 years and continues today. Continues in you. In your birth year. In your zodiac animal. In your element. In your place in the eternal cycle. Rest now. In that pattern. In that rhythm. In that ancient wisdom. Let yourself be held by the knowledge that you're not random. Not disconnected. But part of a cosmic order. A celestial pattern. A cycle that includes you. That gives you place. That gives you meaning. Sleep. And let the 12 animals circle through your dreams. Let the 5 elements flow. Let yin and yang dance their eternal dance. Let Jupiter continue its slow journey across the sky. Let the patterns continue. As they always have. As they always will. You're part of it. Part of the cycle. Part of the pattern. Part of the ancient wisdom that understands we're connected to the cosmos. To each other. To the eternal rhythms that govern everything. Rest now. In that connection. In that pattern. In that eternal, cosmic rhythm.